Most people aren't broke because they don't make enough money. They're broke because of how they handle what they have. In fact, according to a MarketWatch survey, 2025, 57% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. And the reason might shock you, it's not the big expenses like your rent, car payment, or even those crazy grocery bills. Nope, it's those tiny everyday habits that are quietly draining your cash. In this video, I'll show you exactly which habits to ditch if you're serious about breaking that paycheck to paycheck cycle. Let's get started. Bad money habit number 1 is paying yourself last. Here's what I mean by this. As soon as you get paid, you pay your rent, your phone bill, your gym membership, you go out to dinner, you buy something nice for yourself, and you're planning to save if there's any money left at the end of the month. And problem is, there's never any money left to save. Sound familiar? People who get ahead financially do the exact opposite. They pay themselves first. That means before they start paying their bills, swiping their cards, and giving money to everyone else and their mother except for themselves, they put a portion of everything they make into their own pockets first. Then they pay their bills and live on what's left. They prioritize making themselves richer versus making other people richer. People who are good at saving money all understand something called Parkinson's law. So Parkinson's law is the principle that demands will always expand to consume all available resources. That's why if you have a week to finish a project, you end up taking all that time to finish it. And you were probably pretty inefficient with your time. Whereas if you have just 1 hour to finish that same project, you'll be super focused and efficient and still get it done. So work expands to consume all available time. And it's the same with money. Your spending will expand to consume all available money. Whether you have $100 or $100,000, your expenses will keep increasing to consume all the money that you have. That's why making more and more money isn't always the answer, and saving money after you do all your spending is just not going to work. But it's because your spending will always rise to just eat up all that money. You got to pay yourself first. You got to treat saving money like a bill. So as soon as you get paid, commit to setting aside 10% or whatever percentage that you can handle and put that towards savings and investments, and then just live on what's left. Bad money habit number 2 is not having emergency fund. Most people don't go broke because they spend too much on vacations or shopping. They go broke because life hit them when they were unprepared. And one of the biggest reasons for that is not having an emergency fund. Let's face it, emergencies don't send a calendar invite. Your car might break down, you could lose your job or have a sudden medical bill. And if you're living paycheck to paycheck, like many people are, those surprises can completely derail your finances. One unexpected expense and suddenly you're in debt, stressed, or borrowing money just to get by. There's a quote by Dave Ramsey that hits hard. If you don't have an emergency fund, you are the emergency. That means you become the burden. You become the crisis that needs rescuing by credit cards, loans, or even family and friends. But it doesn't have to be that way. You don't need to save thousands overnight. Start small. Your first goal should be to save just $1,000. That's your starter emergency fund. Keep it in a separate savings account, one you don't touch unless it's truly an emergency. After that, aim for 3 to 6 months worth of living expenses. And here's the key. Consistency matters more than the amount. Even saving $5 a day is better than saving nothing. Automate it if you can. Treat it like a bill you must pay. Except this time, you're paying your future self. At the end of the day, an emergency fund isn't about money. It's about peace of mind. Because when life throws you a curveball, and it will, you won't panic, you'll be ready. So ask yourself honestly, do you have an emergency fund? If not, there's no better time to start than today. Bad money habit number 3 is overuse of credit card. The more you rely on your credit card to feel financially free, the deeper you trap yourself in debt that steals your freedom. Credit cards can be powerful financial tools, but only if you're the one controlling them. The moment they start controlling you, things can spiral fast. If you've ever looked at your credit card bill and thought, wait, how did it get this high? You're definitely not alone. As of 2025, the average American is carrying over $6,000 in credit card debt, according to data from TransUnion. What's even scarier? The average interest rate on credit cards is now over 21%. That means if you're not paying off your balance in full each month, you're losing a huge chunk of your money just in interest. It's like setting fire to your future paycheck every single month. So why do we fall into this trap? It's simple. Credit cards feel painless. When you swipe or tap, there's no instant consequence, no cash leaving your hand. Add in tempting offers like buy now, pay later, cashback points, and flashy rewards, and it's easy to forget you're borrowing money, not spending your own. In fact, research shows that people tend to spend up to 18% more when using credit cards compared to cash. That's not by accident. Companies design it that way, and here's where things really go downhill: the debt trap. Let's say you owe $5,000 and only pay the minimum each month. Thanks to high interest, it could take you years to pay it off, and you might end up paying nearly double what you originally owed. This is how the credit card companies make billions. It's a cycle, a dangerous one, and millions of people get stuck in it. But credit cards themselves aren't evil. The problem is in how we use them. If used wisely, they can actually help build your credit score, earn useful rewards, and protect purchases. The key is to follow a few simple habits. First, always try to pay off your full balance each month. Carrying a balance is what racks up interest. Second, treat your credit card like real cash. If you wouldn't buy it with the cash in your wallet, don't buy it with your card. And third, track your spending. Use an app or spreadsheet, like whatever works, but keep your eyes on where your money's going. Remember, credit cards should work for you, not against you. Use them to your advantage, not to finance a lifestyle you can't afford. Bad money habit number 4 is not knowing your income and expenses. If I asked you right now how much money you made last month and how much you spent, could you answer within 10 seconds? If your answer is no, that's a real problem, because if you don't know your numbers, your money is quietly slipping through your fingers. Let me explain. With a simple real-life example, there's a guy named Ryan, 29 years old, working a decent tech job in Austin, Texas. He brings home around $6,500 a month after tax. That's a solid income. But somehow, by the 25th of every month, Ryan is broke. No savings, no investments, and no idea where all that money went. He felt like he was doing okay until one day he decided to check his bank statements. That's when it hit him. He was bleeding money without even realizing it. He broke it down and found $2,000 on rent, $900 on eating out, $600 on random Amazon purchases, $400 on subscriptions he forgot about, $500 on car payments and fuel, and $300 on weekend trips. The total, more than his monthly income. Every single month he was going $300 to $500 into the negative. And Ryan's not alone. According to surveys, over 60% of Americans don't track their spending. And that's exactly how debt starts piling up. That's how your emergency savings disappears. That's how money stress becomes your daily life. Most people don't track their money because it sounds boring or it feels too complicated, or they just assume they're doing fine. But here's the truth. If you don't control your money will control you. So follow this step to fix it. Step 1. Write down how much money you made this month. Step 2, open your bank statement or use a free budgeting app like Mint or YNAB. Step 3, categorize your spending: rent, groceries, eating out, subscriptions, everything. Step 4, set limits for each category and stick to them. This takes just 15 minutes a week, but the results? Massive. You get peace of mind, control, confidence, and the ability to actually grow your savings. Ryan started doing this just 3 months ago. Now he's saving over $1,200 a month just because he finally became aware of where his money was going. Bad money habit number 5 is waiting too much to start investing. Be honest, how many times have you told yourself, I'll start investing later? Maybe next year, maybe when I get a raise or when I finally understand the stock market. But here's the truth. Waiting too long to start investing is one of the biggest financial mistakes you can make. And to show you why, Let me tell you a real world story. There were two friends, Mark and Jason. Both earned similar salaries and lived pretty average lives. Mark decided to start investing at age 25. Nothing fancy, just $200 a month into a basic S&P 500 index fund. Jason, on the other hand, kept putting it off. "I'll start next year," he kept saying. But that next year didn't come until he was 35. To catch up, he started investing $400 a month, double what Mark was putting in. So, who ended up with more money by the time they turned 60? It was Mark, by a long shot. Even though Jason invested more money overall, Mark's investments had more time to grow. Thanks to the magic of compound interest, Mark ended up with over $500,000, while Jason ended up with only around $350,000. That's the power of starting early. When it comes to building wealth, time in the market matters more than timing the market. But most people don't start early. Why? Because they think they don't have enough money, or they want to wait until they feel ready. But here's the truth. You'll never feel fully ready. Even starting with just $50 a month is better than waiting. If you delay investing $200 a month by 5 years, you're not just missing out on $12,000 in contributions, you're also missing out on tens of thousands of dollars in compound growth. And that's money your future self won't be able to recover. So what should you do? Start small. Keep it simple. Open a Roth IRA or start with an index fund through platforms like Vanguard, Fidelity, or even apps like Robinhood or Charles Schwab. You don't need to be a Wall Street pro. You just need to start. Because when it comes to investing, it's not about how much you start with. It's about how early you start. And if you haven't started yet, now is the best time. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Just begin. Your future self will be glad you did. Let me tell you something that might surprise you. During the COVID-19 pandemic, even a giant like Disney took a massive financial hit, losing over $7 billion in just a few months. Why? Because their biggest income sources, theme parks and movie theaters, were shut down. Just like that. Everything they relied on to make money stopped working. If a company as powerful and diversified as Disney can struggle by depending too much on one major income stream, imagine what that means for regular people like us. And it's not just theory, this is still happening today. In just the first quarter of 2025, over 3 million Americans lost their jobs in mass layoffs. That's millions of people who were depending on a single paycheck. And suddenly, it was gone. No warning, no backup, just panic. That brings us to bad money habit 6, relying on one source of income. Most people don't think about this. They work their 9 to 5, get paid, pay the bills, maybe try to save a little and repeat. But here's the problem. When you only have one stream of income, your entire financial life is built on a very weak foundation. One unexpected event, a layoff, a medical emergency, or sudden economic shift, and your whole financial stability can collapse in an instant. In 2025, job security is more of a myth than a fact. Companies are cutting costs, replacing people with AI, outsourcing roles overseas. Nothing is guaranteed anymore. And even if your job feels safe today, that can change overnight. Just ask any of the millions who were laid off this year. They didn't see it coming either. That's why the wealthy, and even the financially stable, don't rely on just one paycheck. They create multiple streams of income. Things like side hustles, freelance work, investing in index funds or dividend stocks, selling digital products, renting out extra space, or even building something simple online. It's not about hustling 24/7. It's about creating smart, low-maintenance income streams that protect you when life gets messy. Even earning a few hundred extra dollars a month can give you breathing room, flexibility, and peace of mind. So ask yourself this. Are you still depending on just one source of income? Because if you are, now is the time to change that. Build your safety net before life forces you to. Bad money habits number 7 is falling for get-rich-quick scheme. We've all seen them. Those flashy ads on YouTube or Instagram that scream, make $10,000 a month from home, no skills needed. And for a moment, you pause. You think, what if this is real? Because let's be honest, who wouldn't want to make money quickly and easily? That's exactly why these get-rich-quick schemes keep popping up. They sell you a shortcut, a dream, and a promise of freedom. But here's the harsh truth. Most of them are traps. In fact, 99% of the time, the only person getting rich is the one selling the dream. Why do so many people fall for these schemes? It's simple, because they prey on something very human: impatience. We all want results fast. We want the rewards without the grind, and that's where they get us. With bold claims, fake testimonials, and screenshots of so-called earnings that are often completely made up, these schemes lure people in by selling hope. There's a quote I love by Robert Kiyosaki that says, "The desire to get rich fast is a trap that keeps people poor." Think about that. The more we chase instant results, the more we avoid the real work, the kind of work that actually builds long-term wealth. You'll notice these scams always have something in common. They use urgency, limited spots left, they use simplicity, no experience needed. Don't miss this once-in-a-lifetime chance. But real success, it looks very different. Building real wealth takes time. It's not always glamorous. It's starting a side hustle and earning your first $100 the hard way. It's learning about investing, managing your spending, and building skills that pay off over time. It's not sexy, but it works. The truth is, there are no shortcuts, and anyone who tells you otherwise is probably trying to sell you something. So next time you see a flashy promise of instant money, take a step back. Ask yourself, if this worked so well, why are they selling it to me instead of using it themselves? If someone promises you overnight success, run in the opposite direction. Because in the real world, the only people making money overnight are the ones selling dreams, not building them. So take the long road. It may be slower, but it's real, it's honest, and it leads somewhere that's actually worth going. Let me tell you about Emily. She's 29 years old, lives in Texas, and makes around $5,000 a month at her full-time job. On the surface, things look great. She drives a nice SUV, drinks Starbucks every morning, has the latest iPhone, and just moved into a modern apartment downtown. From the outside, she seems like she's doing pretty well, but here's the truth. Emily is broke. She has over $12,000 in credit card debt, no emergency savings, no investments, and she's living paycheck to paycheck. Not because she doesn't make enough, but because she never learned how to handle her money. She's the perfect example of bad money habit 8, no financial literacy. Sadly, Emily's situation isn't unique. A lot of people are in the same boat. We go through over a decade of school learning math formulas, history dates, and grammar rules, but not once do we get taught how to budget, how credit works, how to invest, or even how taxes function. So when we start earning money, we just figure it out as we go. We copy what our friends do, we spend without thinking, and we swipe the credit card without realizing the long-term consequences. The result? Debt piles up, savings are non-existent, and financial stress becomes part of everyday life. But here's the thing. Financial literacy isn't optional anymore. It's a skill you have to learn if you want any kind of financial stability or freedom. It's not about being a finance expert. It's about knowing the basics, how to budget, save, invest, and make smart money decisions. Bad money habit 9 is paying too much in taxes. Did you know that Warren Buffett, one of the richest men in the world, pays a lower tax rate than his secretary? Yeah, let that sink in. In fact, Buffett himself revealed this shocking fact in an interview. While his secretary pays a higher effective tax rate from her regular paycheck, Buffett pays less because most of his income comes from investments, not salary. Now, I'm not saying you should be a billionaire investor to pay less in taxes, but this example proves something big. Most people are paying way more in taxes than they need to, and they don't even realize it. Here's the thing. If you're working a regular 9-to-5 job and not taking advantage of legal tax strategies like deductions, write-offs, or setting up the right kind of business or investment accounts, you're probably losing thousands of dollars every single year. And the crazy part, the tax code actually rewards people who invest, who start businesses, and who play smart with their money. But if you don't know the rules, you end up stuck paying the highest percentage while the wealthy legally pay less. Listen, and changing your money habits isn't easy, but it is possible, and it starts with awareness. All right, that's a wrap. Just remember, it's not about how much you make, it's about how you manage it. If this helped even a little, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll catch you in the next one.